Good morning. I thought I'd do a little tour before it gets too hot here. We're in the midst of a heat wave, but I wanted to show you the garden. So it is mid-July, and I thought I'd start here on the porch. Now, don't mind the porch. We are planning to paint it, just haven't gotten to it yet. It needs to be not this hot so that the paint will do okay in the sun. So anyway, that is going to get done, but I kept it really simple this year with my flowers because next year Hannah graduates, and so we're gonna have a big party, and I know that I'm gonna want a lot of plants and flowers and landscaping for that. So I didn't want to do a lot this year. Anyway, these were doing better until yesterday when I forgot to water them. That was my fault, but they've bounced back pretty well overnight, and you'll see some on the back deck. Those are also doing pretty poorly after I forgot to water them. This one I need to pinch back. That's a geranium. So I just need to pinch that back. The heat kind of got it, but the others bounced back pretty well. And you can see I just kind of did like a red, a white, and blue, and like with pops of yellow out here because the yellow, I have the yellow in the lily, so I thought I'd bring that onto the porch, and it's kind of cheery. This is a new pillow, and I think I got that at Target. And this is a new chair that I got this year because I had a different one. I had one of the plastic Adirondack chairs, and it was really faded and not super comfortable. So this is a really nice chair. Home Depot, I think I paid like 60 bucks, which is kind of a lot for me, but it's pretty durable and it's heavier, so it won't blow off the porch, and it hasn't blown off the porch at all. I had to raise this pot up. Originally I had it down. Had to raise it up because the bunnies were devouring my petunias. So you can see they finally came back because they've been up now for about 2 weeks. This window box is not doing great. And I think next year I'm going to switch from the black wrought iron with the coconut liner to like maybe a plastic composite type of box, because the water just evaporates. And unless you're out here watering like twice a day, it doesn't do well. So I've given it a try a few years in a row. It's not doing great. This is actually doing really well, but it's asleep right now. Like the flowers come into full bloom in the heat of the day. So I'll try to insert a picture of this later if I think of it. But anyway, it's doing well. And I did stick just a little yellow portulaca in there just for a little extra pop of color. So when that's in bloom, it looks really cute. So it's a little unexpected pop of yellow. Okay, and here it is. It's the same day, just several hours later. It's about 3 o'clock, and you can see now it looks like it's in full bloom. Okay, here's the front garden. My shrubs, these two kind of died this year. So I cut them all the way down, and now they've come back. So I'm like, okay, they were really big. They were like this high, probably planted in the 90s. When they had like done something with the porch or whatever. So anyway, they're older shrubs, but by trimming them down, now I've kind of given them new life. So we'll see what they look like next year. For this year, I'm just leaving them. And then this one's doing really well. This is the Swedish ivy, which someone told me is related to mint. So it is kind of being it's taking over a bit. So I did pinch some of it back. Oh, this guy died. I didn't get to him in time. Like the Swedish ivy, I think, choked it. But I think that'll give this room to fill in. So anyway, I pinched back some of the Swedish ivy, and hopefully, and maybe I'll take a little more out. It's just gets really big. But everything else seems to be growing beyond it, so maybe it's okay. And I stuck some birch branches in here. I got this idea from a restaurant. You might have seen in another vlog. So those are just from our birch tree. And then these are doing fine. This is a hydrangea. It does finally have buds on it. I don't know why it's such a late bloomer, but it is. It's strawberry something. And then, yeah, there's something I'm looking for. I don't know what it's called, but it's like a tall grayish leaf, and it has tall purple spikes, like light purple, lavender. So I have to figure out what that is. I keep seeing it in gardens around, and I'd like to plant one of those here just to give height, because it's very now that the shrubs are low, everything is the same height, which is bothering me. So anyway, and I don't do much here. It's because you can see it's all rock under the mulch. So it's very difficult to plant things here. So, and eventually we want to get this all taken out actually and have a retaining wall put in, because you can see we have this slope and our mulch on both sides of the garden just kind of, you know, comes out if it rains too hard. So eventually we'd like this to be a retaining wall. So I don't do much here just because I'm not planning on having it here forever. This is a hydrangea, and when I planted it, it was one stick, and that was probably 5 years ago now. So 4 years ago, wait, must have been summer of 2018. Yeah, 4 years ago. So I'm really pleased with how that's doing. Okay, and these shrubs we had planted 3 years ago now to block the view of the garbage cans from the road, and it's doing a fabulous job. So those are doing really well. And I had daisies in here and they were just all getting crowded out by these shrubs. So I moved them. And so all that's left is these little bits of ground cover. I think it's like some kind of dianthus now. So I'm here on the back deck and my plants recovered. These were really bad yesterday. These are the ones that I also forgot to water yesterday, and it was 99 degrees. This one, it's gonna come back. I gotta trim off all these dead flowers. That took a pretty hard hit. It's still feeling crispy. I might water it again this morning. It's a little crispy still. Anyway, so this is the deck. I didn't do a ton of planting here, but look, my little fairy garden is doing great. Super cute. I love the succulents. They're doing really well. Oh, my little guy fell over. Polka dot plants, marigold. Here's the dish garden. That is not in full sun, which is why it's just spurting like that, because that is the one. So I have one fountain up on the deck that runs all the time, and then this one only runs when it's in direct sunlight, so that's why it's doing that. But the dish garden is filling in really nicely. There's the garden sculpture that I made. I like how it looks nestled in the grass. The cone flowers are fantastic. This is a pincushion flower. I don't love it. I'm gonna dig it up once it's done blooming. I feel like let it have its show, and I'm taking it out. It just doesn't look nice. No, I just don't like it. And I planted little annuals right there. Cosmos. So those are just annuals. This is my bee balm that I just got from a friend, and it's doing really well. I love it. I also have red in here. Some little ones. There's one. And then there was another one back there, but it looks like it's done now. These had yellow blooms on them. And then I've got my, what are these? Black-eyed Susans. And there's my snail I just picked up at a yard sale. A bowling ball covered in gems, made to look like a garden gazing ball. Hydrangea. Oh, well, here's yarrow. Just planted that. And the bunnies devoured, I think that's Coreopsis, and the bunnies devoured it, alas. And this is doing really well. At least they're leaving this alone. This is a endless summer hydrangea in pink. And then I have one over here in blue, but blue blooms a lot. I think it blooms on both old and new wood, but all the old wood got eaten off by the deer. So now it's having like a later bloom because it had to regrow to be able to have anything to bloom on. This is my other garden tower. I did get some green flat pieces of glass that I'm going to glue around it as an extra decor on it, but I didn't do it yet. And that's my garden angel that I just made. There's a DIY on this channel about that. Lilies are done. These are fantastic. This one and this one, they're doing really well. This I actually brought in for the winter. Brought it back out and just planted these in here just as like added color, and they've really taken off. And this is a hosta that I moved and then the bunnies got to it. So then there's some weeds I got to pull. but I really like that too. That's doing really well. Sorry, that's our pooper scooper. That's reality again. Here's my herb garden in the old chimenea bottom, and it's doing really well. I need to harvest the basil. That's an empty pot because I'm planning to put another pepper plant in it. I have a pepper plant. I need to get dirt and I keep forgetting. And then because we sit down here a lot with Penny, I put some hanging plants down here this year. These shrubs are not loving where they are, so I don't know if I have to move them. They're just not doing well. I don't know. This is their second year. They look terrible. They look terrible. I forget what they're called. Sweet orange or something. It's called like sweet orange, or I forget, but they're gorgeous when they bloom, but they look awful right now. And then something, I think the bunnies go after them. It's the only thing I can think of, because like you can see, I mean, it's like every time it grows, it gets eaten, unfortunately. And this hanging plant's doing great. If you remember, I bought, what did I have over here? Now I can't remember. I had something else and it just wasn't doing well. So I got this instead. It's like a part shade plant. So it gets this morning sun and then it's in the shade the rest of the day, and it's really happy over here. So that's good. And then here's the veggie garden. I don't open the gate right now because I'm going out yard selling. But I've picked 2 cucumbers so far. Haven't gotten any tomatoes yet. I mean, there's tomatoes, they're just not ready. And yeah, it's early for me. I know a lot of people in other places are getting tomatoes, but it's still early for us. So, and this I dug up. It's called purple clover. It was in the yard, and it's actually a really good herb to have. Like, there's medicinal uses for it. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna put it in the veggie garden, and then we have it just in case. It's like a just in case plant, you know. So anyway. Oh, and I picked a bunch of beans. See the beans? My little bean patch is doing really well, and there's tons more beans. And that's it. That's my garden tour for mid-July. Not a ton going on. Things are doing fairly well. The heat is kind of getting to stuff. I have to really stay on top of watering my potted plants because of the heat. So, but I know we have it much better than a lot of other places, so at least I'm thankful for that. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.